Okay, so welcome to the Environmental Justice Practitioners Network. I'm Tharp with the UU Ministry for Earth, and it is my joy to introduce our special guest who's getting a phone call, Sharon Lavigne. Sharon, let me just mute her line real quick. Sharon is the founder of Rise St. James, which is a Christian environmental justice organization in St. James Parish, Louisiana. And I'm repping their t-shirt, as you could see, because I was able to go down to meet Sharon and meet some people in her community a little while ago, about 6 weeks ago, for a moral revival with the Poor People's Campaign in St. James. So it was really good to be there in community with them, and it's also really good to be here tonight with all of you and with Sharon. So with that, I will, where did Sharon go? Let me find her. There's just there you are. Okay, there's so many screens. It's hard to keep track of everyone. Okay. Sharon, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with us.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, we had our first revival in January, and the Old People's Campaign was there in Rise St. James. We put the revival on. That was our first revival. First of all, I would like to say the organization Rise St. James started on October 20th, 2018. We are a fairly new organization. This is my first time doing something like this, and I'm learning. I'm in a learning stage right now. The reason why I started Rise St. James, because I was in another organization, and it was called HELP, Humanitarian Enterprise of Loving People. And I went to meetings faithfully. Every month we had a meeting on the third Monday of every month. I went to that meeting faithfully for 2.5 years. And in the meeting, we would talk about what industry is coming in, what pipeline is coming in. And as I sat there, I got frustrated because no one in the meeting would say, how do we stop these things? And no one would say, why did they choose our area to put the industry in? And the more I went to the meetings, I didn't say anything. I was never a person to speak out. I would ask questions, but I never had ideas on what to do about anything. So this summer just passed. I went to California to my sister and my cousin, and I was telling her about this great organization that I was in, and it was called HELP. And she started to ask questions about the organization. What are we doing, and how did it get started? And I was just a proud member to talk about HELP. Then she started asking me about the website, and we looked on the computer, we couldn't find a website. She asked me, do I have any cards? And I told her, no, I don't have a card. Then she asked me, what is the organization doing? I said, we discussed about the industry. And I said, I don't want the industry to come in. I said, but you haven't done anything about it. So she said, Sharon, why don't you do something about it? And I said, me? I said, I'm just an ordinary person. I go to work and I go to church, and that was it. So, and I go to the meeting, and that was it. And so she talked to me, she and her husband, and told me that I need to do something. If I don't want the industry to come in and it's making us sick, the ones that's there already is making us sick, because we have 10 in the 5th district. We have 7 districts in St. James Parish, and I live on the west bank of the parish, and we have 10 industries in the 5th district where I live. When I heard about this plant that was coming in, it wasn't even 2 miles from where I live. That's when I just lost it. I just couldn't bear the pain of another industry coming in and making us sick again. Sick, more sick. And so my cousin talked to me and told me I need to do this. I need to get cards. She made me some cards. She talked to me and her husband, and I told her, I can't do that. I'm not a public speaker. I can't do that. So came back home to Louisiana, telling my friends about what my cousin said, we need to do something about the industry and so forth. And they still didn't do anything about it. Then we had a march, HELP had a march on September 8th, 2018. I'll never forget it. It was a beautiful march. And we marched down a lane called Burden Lane. Burden Lane is bombarded with industry. People are dying, people are getting sick. So many people in Burden Lane already have cancer. They have about 5 of them in wheelchairs. One lady had 2 legs that was amputated. So I started thinking about what my cousin said. So during the march, we marched down Birdland. It got big media. The media was there. So we went to Welcome Park in St. James, and that was my first time speaking. That morning of the 8th, I woke up. Before the 8th, I was all excited about us walking. We had our shirts made and so forth. So I wrote down my speech, and I stood up there and I read it because I said I'm not a public speaker, so I have to read it. So I read my speech. That was the first time I ever spoke about anything in public. Then after the march, we didn't do anything. We had another meeting. That was it. We didn't say, what are we going to do to stop the industry? October the 20th, I had the first meeting at my house in my den. I had 10 people. The next meeting I had 20 people. But before we got to the second meeting, I went to a meeting in Baton Rouge. It was an NAACP meeting, and it was about the environment. It was about the environment. So I went, me and my brother and my daughter and another lady. So I brought a picture of my friend Keith. Keith was working with us with the Help Association. Keith lived in Birdland, and Keith died in 2018, February 2018, of respiratory problems. So I made a big bifolder poster. I made it pretty, and I put on there St. James in black letters, and underneath there I put Rise in red letters. Why I put Rise, I didn't know. I was at work, and I took the letters and brought it home, and I put it on the poster. So at Southern University at the meeting, I stood up with 2 other ladies to tell them about Burden Land and about St. James and how the people are dying, and another industry is coming in and nobody is trying to stop it. I explained that to the people. So a lot of people came up to me after that, from different parishes. They gave me their cards and told me that they can help us. So I said, okay. That next day was a Saturday. We had to sign out and sign our papers, in order for us to get our mileage. So the lady said, in order to get your mileage, you have to have an organization name. I said, we don't have a name yet. She said, oh, yes, you do. Look at your shirt. It said Rise. Oh, so on the paper, I wrote Rise. So that's when Rise came to me. God put Rise in my head. So had my second meeting. It was in my garage. I made a big pot of gumbo. I had 20 people. And the NAACP from the state came, and the one from Baton Rouge came. And they tried to tell us we need a name and this and how to organize, because we didn't really know what to do. So I asked the members, the ladies that were there, do they have a name for our organization? No one had a name. So I said, I have a name, and I want to know if you all like this name, and we have to vote on it. So I said, I thought about Rise St. James. And I asked them if they agree with Rise St. James. Unanimous vote. Everybody voted for it. That's how Rise came. That's how the name came about. Then from there, we had a march on the 11th of November. November the 3rd, we had our first march. That was a success. That went viral. It was on Facebook, everywhere. So from there we went. But to give you a little bit history about St. James, I was raised and born in St. James all my life. When I was a little girl, we had clean air, clean water. The soil was good. We planted, we ate from the land. My daddy had gardens. We raised cattle. We had fruit trees. We made fig preserve. We ate everything, fresh cow milk, all of that. Then back in 1966, my father, Milton Kayak, integrated the high school that I went to. It was St. James High School. And he has an article about him. And he was the only man by faith, the faith that he had in God, to get on that bus, on that school bus. He gathered 7 children. So the mothers went with their child because they only would accept children that were 6 years old to go to first grade. So he couldn't get any man to go with him. Everyone he asked, they all said they had to work. They had a job, as though he didn't have a job. So this is one of the pictures of my daddy when he marched. That's the 7 ladies that went with him. They went with him because their children went to school at this predominantly white school. So he integrated St. James High School back in 1966. Then in 2014, our parish council, land use commission people, members, they did a rezoning of the 5th district, and they made where I live industrial, which I didn't know because I wasn't involved in all of this. So I didn't know. 2018, we just now finding out that it's industrial, I think commercial industrial. So that's why the industry is coming in the 5th district, because they're thinking it's open season to put their industry right next to us. It's a predominantly Black area. A lot of the white farmers have already sold out. We didn't know until we saw them moving. And a lot of them move out, sold their lands. We have records of all of that, of who sold their land and how much they were paid for it. One of the landowners, they're already rich people. They sold out right next to our high school, St. James High School, where I worked, the school that my daddy integrated. They sold our high school for 10-point-something million. They built a new high school about 10 miles away. That was 46 million. So the 10 million wasn't enough. So the people was upset, but it wasn't nothing they could do about it because we didn't know what was going on. That happened in 2014. They didn't start to build until 2017, I think. And so we had to move. So I have to drive further now to go to work. In the district where the school was, it was in St. James. The town is called St. James. The parish is called St. James. The high school is called St. James. The church is called St. James. So they put our school, they left the name on it, and they put it in Vacherie. Vacherie is in St. James Parish, but it's not in St. James. So the board asked them to leave the name on there. So it's still called St. James High School, but it's located in another district, which is District 7. And we live in District 5. So that's how our school was taken away. Then the industry bought our post office. Our post office is gone. Our school is gone. Something else went away. So many things have gone. And there was an ordinance that they had voted on that industry cannot come within 2 miles of a residence. I was told that they went back and changed that to 300 feet. So that's why all the industries are coming in. We went back and we looked at the map, and the map showed us that the parish land use commission people voted to make it 300 feet instead of 2 miles. At first they said it can't be 2 miles within a public school or a church. Now they're trying to put Formosa, not even a good 1.5 miles from a Baptist church and an elementary school. When I found out that that plant was coming next to me, that's when I had to do something. I had to fight. So when I used to come from the help meetings, depressed, because they said in the help meeting that it was nothing we could do about it. The plant was coming in. Oh, Sharon, the plant is coming in. There's nothing we could do about it. And I said, why? Why we can't do something about it? I said, we live here. Oh, it's nothing we could do about it. You got to accept it. The parish going to vote it in and blah, blah, blah. I couldn't accept that. My heart just couldn't accept it. So I would go to bed at night sometime and I would cry and I would pray and ask God what to do. So one day I sat on my porch. I look at the birds from one end of the tree flying. You very seldom see red birds anymore after all the industry came in. But that day, they had about 3 red birds, and they were in the bush, and they were playing, looked like going from one tree to the next tree. And I prayed, and I said, Dear Lord, you gave me this land. I said, look at the land that you gave me. I said, Dear Lord, you gave me this house, the house that you built for me. Do you want me to move? Do you want me to let the industry just come and take my home and my land? He said, no. He answered me, no. And I said, Dear Lord, what should I do? He said, fight. And it looked like something inside of me has been going ever since. It's in a fast motion. It hasn't stopped. And we have our little meetings and stuff. And some of the people in St. James don't want to come out. They're afraid that somebody's going to ask them to speak. Like I was afraid a long time ago, but God gave me the strength, and I don't mind speaking up now. So they tell me that I'm doing a good job, keep up the work, and they would tell me that if I need them, they'll come. They don't come to the meetings, but they said like if I have a march, they would come. And they all tell me that they're backing me up. And I don't know, I pray so hard, and God told me the plant is not going to come. If the plant comes here, I feel like God has something else in mind for us. So let us suffer like this all of these years without knowing where the sickness was coming from. We didn't know why we were sick. People dying of cancer left and right around here in St. James Parish, the whole parish, the 7 districts. People are dying. It looked like every week we have a funeral. The week Saturday just passed, we had 2 funerals. One of my homeboys died, and one of my friend's husband died with lung cancer. So I went to one of them. I couldn't go to both, so I went to one. And it's so sad. And another thing, my little grandson, he's 7 years old. He is having breathing problems. The doctor can't tell my daughter why he's having these breathing problems. I told him I know why he's having it, because the industry is too much of pollution, too much of stuff in the air. And my other little granddaughter, she was 3 at the time. They live with me now, she and her mother. They come from upstairs and came downstairs and said, Mama, we smell something is burning, Mama. I said, I don't smell anything. I was downstairs. So she went outside, opened the door. It was so bad outside, she had to come back inside. That's how bad the pollution is. So it hurts. It hurts, especially when you're looking at your grandchildren from little. I'm older and sick. They are young and getting sick. We go to the parish council meetings. We spill our guts. We talk to them and plead with them and ask them not to put any more chemical plants in here. We have 7 members, full working industry. The other 3, they don't work in industry. So if they get a 4-3 vote, they're gonna win. And most time the 4 win to put the industry in here. So the other 3, they don't have a chance. So it's a sad day in St. James to know that they don't even care. They don't care about us. Hey Marie, turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. So we trying to fight. It seemed like it's a losing fight, but we're gonna still fight. It's a bunch of us that's willing to fight. The members of Rise and other people. We have people from all over coming to help us. And some of the people in St. James that's not speaking out, they are telling me what to say. They don't want this plant here. They are sick and tired. And one lady she's a cancer patient. She came to my house and she spoke one time and said, enough is enough, and she's tired. So, and one of the priests is on board with us. His name is Father Vincent. He has a church. He has 3 churches in St. James, and he's on board with us. He's trying to help us. So we had a second revival Thursday night, and we had people there and they spoke, so forth. And we don't have a bank account or anything because I don't have time for that. My time is to fight the industry. I don't have time to figure out the finances about that. I have a vice president. I have a treasurer. I don't have a secretary. I asked one or two ladies, but they want to be in the organization, but they don't want to be a secretary. I say, fine. Whenever God sends us one, that's fine. We'll take them. But right now, I don't know. I'm not giving up hope because I know what God told me. He told me to fight. He told me I don't have to give my home up and I can stay here. Because my brother and I used to talk when I was a part of the help. Well, I'm still a part of the help association. We used to talk, and he would say, "Well, Sharon, I think if I have to move, I'll move to Convent." I said, "Well, Milton, Convent is not that far. It's right across the river. The wind gonna blow over there too. So why would you go that close?" So I used to say, "Well, I don't know, maybe I go to Lafayette." And I say, "I won't be able to go to my church. I love my church. I sing in the church choir." So that was before God had given me the answer. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to be bought out. I don't have any intentions of leaving what God gave me. God gave me this, and I'm not going to just up and leave. And so I was told by other people, be careful, because the plants are telling the workers that we are trying to stop them from having a job, and that is not true. They're not trying to stop anyone from having a job. We are asking if they're going to, the ones that are here, if they're going to stay here, to stop putting so much of the chemicals in the river, in our drinking water. That's our drinking water. And stop putting so much of the emissions in the air. It's over the limit. We don't know how bad it is because we haven't had a study yet. But we are tired. I had to purchase a machine to purify my water, to clean my water. Almost a $5,000 machine, because we can't drink the water because the water is polluted. Some of the plants put benzene in the water besides other chemicals. And benzene is a cancer-causing chemical besides other chemicals. I don't know what other chemicals they have. So it's hard. It's really hard to try to fight this fight. It has me to the point where I can't sleep sometime at night. I wake up in the middle of the night, and the good Lord tell me things that we should do. And some of the things I go back to the organization, I let them know. And some of the things it's not time to tell them what else he told me to do. But he's given it to us. He sent people into the organization that joined with us from different parishes that's coming to help us. And we're getting ready for a march on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We're going to start to march in St. John Parish, St. John the Baptist Parish, because there's a plant there called DuPont Dinker, and their emissions is so high. I think it's 800 times of the legal limit, and it's right next to elementary school. And that's the school where the little children is going. And it hurts me to see how they're killing these little children early in life. They already did it to us a long time ago, years ago, without us knowing. But now that we know, we don't want to see the little children suffering and getting sick and dying. One little boy had leukemia, and he has to go to Tennessee for his treatment. And the older ones having all kind of breathing problems, cancer, all kind of ailments. And like, for example, I went to the doctor yesterday to get the results of my blood work, and she said I have aluminum in my body. Where that came from, I don't know. My gastrologist said I have autoimmune hepatitis. And the doctor also said my eyes are getting worse. There's a grain elevator that directly across the river from my house. Ever so often, we have to wash the siding on my house. We have to wash our cars more often than normal, than usual. And the dust is in the air, the grains are in the air, and it flies over to our house. And I'm more than sure it did something to my eyes. I asked God to restore my vision where it can be better than what it is. And I don't know, just so much. And these plants come in here, and I think someone told me there's a map that it doesn't show people live here, it just show open land. And I don't know, it hurts and it's sad. And all we want to do is live with clean air, clean water, and have good health. If the chemical plants are in here and they're doing the right thing, that wouldn't be so bad. But they lie and tell the parish council and the land use commission people that they are going to do the right thing and they will be good neighbors. That's lies. Every time I go to a meeting, they tell them they're going to do this and do that, and they don't do it. And I went to a meeting Monday night with the land use commission people, and I told them that my friend Keith Hunter, he died from industry. And I said, you all want to put more on us? I said, this is genocide. And I gave them the definition of genocide. And they still voted the plant in. They voted 6 for it and 1 against it, and 2 was absent. So they don't care about us. They don't care about the people. They care about the almighty dollar. And I feel like somebody's getting something somewhere. And it just hurts. Anybody have any questions?
Oh my, yes. I don't know, Sharon, if you can see the faces of the people.
I can see your face.
And also, I hope you can see in my face that I feel very deeply what you've been saying, and that you're speaking clearly and you're speaking truthfully from your heart and your experience. So we're with you. And I also see that a couple people have left messages in the side. And one of Bill is saying we have a moral obligation with our privileged status, those of us on this call, to support this kind of action and morality, speaking of your moral action. And one person wants to know what kind of plant or plants are you trying to stop? What are the industries in particular? And I think that question comes from wanting to know if there's a way for us to apply pressure on those industries. Do you feel at this point you'd like to share with us what those industries are, or would you like to share that at a different time?
I can share it now.
Great.
All right, the one that they voted in Monday night is called syngas, syngas, syngas. That's my first time hearing about that one. So they voted that one in. That one's going to come in a little neighborhood called Birdland. Birdland is surrounded by 2 chemical plants already. One of the plants is called New Star. The other one is called Marathon. So they already bombarded already with industry. One on each side. Now they're going to put syngas in the back of it. So we don't have an evacuation route. They put these industries here. They block off our evacuation route. Birdland was one of our evacuation routes. They block it. New Star blocked it off with a chain, with a lock on it. So we can't pass to go back there in case something would happen on Highway 18. Or if one of the plants would explode, we don't have a way out. I'm telling you, it's bad. It's really bad. And one of the other plants that's coming in is in the 4th district. It's called Wanhue, Wanhue. Wanhue. That's from China. They seem to be coming from China. Formosa is the one that's coming right next to my house. But God forbid it's not coming. That one came from Taiwan, I think. One day I was watching TV and I saw the news came on and said that this plant, I think it exploded or whatever happened. And the smell from that, the fumes that come from the plant, it don't smell. You can die in 3 seconds. And that's the plant that these people bought. I call it YCI. I can't pronounce the name of the plant, but we all call it YCI. That's the one that bought our high school. And that plant How could they let something like that come into our parish and you can't smell it? It is in the process now being built. We're praying that God would stop it. Or what else? A new star. And we have another plant that's not far from my house. It's called Mosea. They have a big pile of sulfur sitting out in the opening. I passed there yesterday. No, Monday. I passed there Monday. You could smell it. It makes your stomach turn. It gives you headaches. I called and I told them that I smelled this chemical stuff, and they asked me where it's coming from. I told them. They asked me, do I call my local people? I said, when I call them, they don't come out. But before I could tell them who I was, they told me, I'm Sharon. You Sharon Lavigne. I said, yes, I am. So I called so much until they know my name and they know my number. So that's they have two mosaics, one on each side of the river. The one on the west, on the east bank, has a big stacked pile with acidic water in it, and it sits 187 feet high. And that's another disaster that's waiting to happen. If that big mound break and that acidic water come down and go on the people, it's so acidic it'll burn you. It'll burn your skin. When you pass by that place, you can smell acid in the air, and it makes you sick. And so that's another disaster that's waiting to happen. We're praying it don't happen. The EPA said they came out and they are on it. We can't tell. And they said, who would ever thought to build a big mound like that and put acidic water in it, the waste that come from the plant, I think. And they want to build another plant right next door to it. It's called Wainu from China. So that's another one that's supposed to be coming in. Syngas, Wainu, and Formosa. That's three. One of the land use commission people said Monday night that he is from St. James and he's sorry he voted for Formosa. It's too late now. You voted it in. He said he's speaking from the heart. I guess after he listened to all the people that were speaking and begging them not to put another industry in, God touched his heart, I think, and he told us he was sorry. He said that he had 4 children, and all 4 children lived within 5 miles of him. He says nothing like family. And he said he feels for the people now. So God must have touched his heart. So they didn't vote for Wainu. After he spoke, then another land use commission person spoke, and he said that he want to know what chemicals this plant is going to produce. What chemicals they're going to use to make whatever they make, plastic. And he asked to see the list of chemicals because one lady read off the list of chemicals and told him what the chemicals do to a person. So the lady came up and gave the list of chemicals to the attorney. And so he said he wanted to table this because he wanted to know more about it. So he didn't want to vote that night. So the other man said he seconded his motion. So that made them table it. So that was a good sign. So we felt hopeful Monday night. And I'm hopeful too. I think God is talking to those people. And the man said that he worked in chemical plants. He said all of you all knew what the chemical plant does. And they just look at him. And people got up there and just spilled their guts and asked them, please, don't put another chemical plant in our parish. They were about to vote yes on that one too, until after this man spoke up. So this man, I want to get his number and I want to call him and thank him. At least he had a heart. God touched his heart. And he told us that a lot of his friends move away. He said he loves St. James. And he glad his children stayed near him in St. James. Because he is nothing like family. St. James is a beautiful place. We have nice yards and everything. The children can go outside and play. We don't have to go run to the park. We had nice pecan trees. We picked pecans and sell the pecans. That's how plentiful the pecan trees were. We had fig trees. My dad had fig trees. We would make fig preserves for the winter, and we would eat fig preserves and have fresh cow milk. we can't even plant a garden anymore. The soil is so bad. We can't even plant a garden. And we lived off our food from the gardens, from what we raised. The chickens had fresh eggs, chickens, all of that. And we were chemical free. But I wish y'all can come out here and see our little town. Everybody is friendly. They'll cook for you. They'll welcome you. It's really nice. We had clean air at one time. You might get sick, but come and visit us whenever y'all get a chance. And I'm still working right now, working full time, but I plan to retire soon so I can do this, keep these plants from coming in, and try to change the laws. That's what I want to work on. And I would like to have a meeting with the governor of Louisiana, hopefully soon. Yes.
Thank you, Sharon. I wanted to read a prayer from Pope Francis and then close the recording, and we can have some more conversation.
Okay.
All-powerful God, you are present in the whole universe and in the smallest creatures. You embrace with your tenderness all that exists. Pour out upon us the power of your love that we may protect life and beauty. Fill us with peace that we may live as brothers and sisters, harming no one. O God of the poor, help us to rescue the abandoned and forgotten of this earth so precious in your eyes. Bring healing to our lives that we may protect the world and not prey on it, that we may sow beauty, not pollution and destruction. Touch the hearts of those who look only for gain at the expense of the poor and the earth. Teach us to discover the worth of each thing, to be filled with awe and contemplation, to recognize that we are profoundly united with every creature as we journey towards your infinite light. We thank you for being with us each day. Encourage us, we pray, in our struggle for justice, love, and peace.
Amen.
Amen.
That's nice. Mm-hmm. Really nice.
Thank you, Sharon, for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.